According to Chiro economics, about 5 years ago, it was less than 1% of our profession that was actually generating over 7 figures a year in revenues. But our data, being a data analytic company, we've been watching these trends, and I am seeing a significant rise in 7-figure practices. And so I got really intentional about studying the habits of those 7-figure practices, and I have found the secret strategies. And in this video, I'm going to spill the beans on exactly what they're doing that is driving their success. I'm going to be really transparent with you in the fact that I want you to know these secret strategies because I want you to have the same success so that our entire profession's revenues actually match the value that you're delivering every day with your patients. All right, secret number one of these 7-figure practices, we found that they had strategy in place. Now, strategy is defined as a plan to achieve a very specific outcome. And if your plan is to achieve a 7-figure practice, we've got to get really intentional with what that plan looks like. And it starts with focus. These practices got very intentional about the type of new patients that they were attracting. They cared enough to invest in their marketing to call out what we call their ideal patient persona. You see, right now you might be attracting patients with low complex conditions and high complex conditions, and you're spending your time over here, you're spending your time over here, but the low complex conditions don't have to invest very much in their health because it's a low complex condition. Versus somebody who has a high complex condition, they're tired of it. Think about their mindset of suffering. They're recognizing that their health is now keeping them from doing the very things that they love. Well, those patients are willing to invest time, invest resources, and figure out the financial investment that needs to happen with their health to get it back. I used to think, with patients that I was charging them, I was collecting their money, and I changed that mindset. And this is the very same mindset these 7-figure practices are making, which is a patient's not paying me, they're investing in themselves. They're paying the price to get their health back that they need to pay in order to obtain the quality of life that they want back. You see, you've got to charge for that. I talk a lot about this statement that those who pay attention. When somebody is willing to invest enough into themselves, then they're willing to do the work that it's going to take to gain back their health, and you just become the medium. Your practice becomes the vehicle that transports them to that new quality of life. And when you get really laser focused about spending your time with your high complex patients, your time generates more revenues. It's just the natural mechanism of a data-driven practice. And I want you to see those revenues by getting focused, by building content and marketing that calls out your ideal new patients. Now, before I go on to secret number 3, if you're ready to become a data-driven doc, you need our download, How to Grow Your Practice with Two-Way Texting, where we give you the templates, the text scripts that you and your team can use to increase new patient show rate, how to reactivate patients, how to increase your kept appointment show rates. This guide is gold, so just comment below, I'm ready to grow my practice with two-way texting, and I'll hook you up. Secret number 2 that comes after strategy is the tactics. Now, the tactics are the steps that will actually follow the strategy. What are the actual things that we need to do on a daily basis to accomplish the strategy? This is your focus of a team of absolutely following the SOPs, your standard operating procedures known by all, followed by all. And here are the very ones that I want you to write down and put into work for you. Tactic number 1 is once you know your dream patient, the condition that you love treating, you gotta become known as the expert. Back when I was building Blue IQ in the data-driven practice, the chiropractic community didn't necessarily know me as a data expert. I was known in my community as an amazing doctor, as an expert. I had built a great practice, but nobody really knew me as a data expert, and I had to begin creating content and telling people that I was an expert. Then the next step is I had to start bringing in doctors to tell their story of how our data, our frameworks helped them with their success. Then we began creating case studies of doctors going from, $300,000 a year to $500,000 a year, $500,000 a year to $1 million a year in collections. And these are the frameworks that we had to put into place. We had to take that content and put it out into the community to be consumed. So you kind of have to tell people what you're an expert of first, and then tactic number 2 is getting others to tell your community that you are the expert. So if discopathy is your expertise, if it's neuropathy, if it's migraines, if it's gut health, you've got to become known. I want people to come up to you in your community and say, hey, you're that neuropathy doctor, or you're that person that fixes people's really chronic low back pain. I want you known. That is the tactic that becomes so powerful in helping you execute this strategy of getting to 7 figures. That's what these doctors do, is they get so laser focused on creating content and getting out in the community so they can develop a reputation. If you build this strong enough with enough gravity, then patients will start being attracted to that and coming into you because they recognize that, hey, if I'm suffering with this specific condition, I want to see the best. I want to see an expert. I don't want to just go see a general practitioner. I want to see somebody with a track record of success. If they're going to invest their time and their money into their health, they want certainty of the outcome. Have you built certainty in your skill set to be able to solve complex conditions? That is secret number 2. Now, before I go into secret number 3, make sure that you've actually smashed the like button, turn on notifications. Don't miss a single great episode of the Data-Driven Practice, because I'm going to continue to deliver for you. I am here to guide you from stress to success. So make sure you hit that like button. Secret number 3 is mindset. What is the mindset of a 7-figure doc? So we work with doctors who were sub 6-figure months, and we actually work with doctors that are now hitting 7-figure months. Can you imagine that? 7 figures month after month? That's possible. And it's all about mindset, deciding what you want. And there is a very specific roadmap that is the mindset of a 7-figure provider. A 7-figure provider gets very focused on recognizing their role in leading the team. In order to become that new person that's capable, you've got to invest in yourself. What are you doing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to learn the skill sets of a 7-figure provider? Are you a little weak in finance and understanding the financial architecture of your 7-figure practice? Are you not fully up to date on the latest marketing trends and what's working today and helping to build and attract your ideal new patients? Are you struggling with hiring and understanding the personality archetype that actually fits the roles within your practice? You see, there's a lot of areas to go down and learn, and that's why we built the Data-Driven community to support our doctors in this educational process, to know, to have certainty on where to find information, to gain your expertise to become a 7-figure doc. So you've got to invest in yourself in order to become the identity that's capable of leading a team and building a 7-figure organization. The next piece of mindset is you've got to stop fearing failure. This was one of my big hang-ups when I first came out of practice, because my dad was such an incredible, successful chiropractor. H. Ronald Frogley, developer of the Thompson technique, executive vice president David Palmer, he was a giant. And I've got 6 brothers, 5 of them became chiropractors, and they were ahead of me. They had built incredible practices, and what if I couldn't fill those shoes? What if I couldn't build as successful as a practice? So I had this fear of failure, and it was limiting me. That failure is just one more way that didn't work on your way to what is working. And I want you to be okay with that. I want you to recognize that failure is part of success. In fact, those who fear failure the least typically become the most successful. So let it go. Recognize that nobody's really watching you as closely as you think they are. Stop comparing yourself on social media to some of the other practices out there. Just do your thing. Tap in to the community that can lead you to greatness, and be okay with failure. Be vulnerable. It absolutely makes my heart sing when I see our doctors in our community sharing their numbers. Hey, this is where I'm at. What would you guys do to get to this next level? A lot of times we don't want to share our data because we're embarrassed of not being as successful as others, and that's going to keep us small. So the mindset of success is don't fear failure, be vulnerable, and that will open up doors of opportunity for you that you'll be blown away by. The next most important part of mindset is understanding your operating system of your practice. I was just talking to a doctor yesterday who was trying to implement some of these things and was getting frustrated because he wanted the results today. But think about this. Did you learn how to become a chiropractor in 1 week? Did you make it through school in 1 year? No, it took you 8 years. It's 8 years of education, and then you probably got some specialty degrees, and think about that. It takes time to build. I find a lot of doctors in our profession managing their practice reactively. That means that every single problem comes to you to be solved. And that means you're the operating system, and it also means you're the bottleneck. And that is the secret formula to staying small. If you're ready to scale, if you're ready to grow, if you're ready to get big, then you need an operating system. And an operating system is made up of intentional components. They recognize that if we do, we will have. So what do you need to do? What does the operating system need to be designed to do so that when there's a problem, it almost self-heals? Imagine that, a team member struggling with a front desk cancellation, skyrocketing percentage, and they self-heal. They know the steps to improve cancellations and reduce them and help patients actually stay on schedule. Can you imagine that if it just solved and you didn't have to step in and fix it? That's an operating system. An operating system is built of 4 components. That very first component is knowing the prime mover for the quarter. The second component is teaching the team to look upstream at the process that they need to improve the outcome, the prime mover, or their KPI. We need a team scoreboard. That third component of a team scoreboard means we know the data, we know the score, we can see how we're doing, and the team needs to see that data, not just you aware of that data. It can't be kept down in a spreadsheet somewhere or in a secret file where we're not talking about it, we're not engaging in it. And then we need a regular cadence of accountability. That operating system, when it's in place, will set you free. Don't you want to be free to be able to do the things that you've dreamed of doing? You didn't invest 8 years and all this money and education and all this blood, sweat, and tears to be tied, to be the bottleneck, to be the problem solver. Being the bottleneck, the problem solver, that makes you feel significant, like I'm doing something each and every day, but I'll tell you what, it's not going to work out well for you. I see it time and time again. It will lead you to frustration and dissatisfaction. Get your operating system in place. Get your team to become a data-driven team, and the only way to do that is to connect into the data-driven community where we actually train team members to become data-driven drivers of their system. That is what we do here. And if you want to be a part of this community, come be in our free Facebook group. It's free, and it is the most powerful community in helping you become the leader that you're capable of, to shift this identity from operator to high performer, to actually go through the process to build the very dream practice you know is in you. You just need some support. You need a community. And it's called the Data-Driven Practice. I will see you inside the group where you will actually get a free data-driven guide just for joining the group. Believe me, this guide alone will change your entire understanding of the success of a practice. Come get it. I'll see you in the Facebook group.